Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about my favorite plants from the month of May. First of all, I cannot believe that we are already going into the last week of May. Like, that just blows my mind. I feel like I'm always saying this, but time just flies so quickly. It's absolutely absurd. Second of all, I've been getting an influx of questions recently about my blinds and why I keep them closed. People are confused and thinking that I have my blinds closed all the time, and they're asking like, why do you keep your blinds closed? Why don't you let the light in for your plants? And the answer is that I don't keep my blinds closed except for when I'm filming. Sometimes, they're sometimes open when I'm filming. But if I'm not filming, my blinds are open like 100% all day, every day. We be letting that light in for all these plants. So the reason that I have them closed sometimes when I'm filming is because either it gets too backlit or there's people right outside my window, which there often is. So I'll just keep them closed if I'm like sitting right in front of here and filming, you know? But yeah, fret not, we are letting as much light in here as possible, and yeah, there's no way I would ever be caught with my blinds closed if I wasn't filming. I just thought that those comments were kind of funny, and I just wanted to address that. As usual, I have 5 plants that I've picked to talk about, so let's just hop into the first one. So the first one is my Syngonium albo, and I have just been appreciating this plant so much recently for a couple of reasons. First of all, she just seems to have really established herself in her spot that she's in. When I moved, I did take this plant out of the cabinet, so that was obviously a while ago now, like 8 months ago or something, but it did take a while for her to kind of transition into regular room humidity. I was getting like crisping and whatnot when I first took her out, but now I feel like she's just really settled in. She's growing a lot. Like she pretty much always has a new leaf coming out, and look at this one. Look at her newest leaf. It is almost entirely white, which I know is not great, but it is really cool to see like a completely albo leaf come out. So I'm really excited to see that unfurl. I have been missing it a little bit just because it's been taking a while to unfurl. So we'll see what that ends up looking like, but she just has the most beautiful variegation. Look at that. Like, oh my goodness, this plant is just, it is a very, very pretty one. This is still my favorite leaf. Where is it? Right here. Because it just has like the craziest sectoral variegation of each different color. Like, I don't often see this large like mint chunk on these plants. So I just love her so much. I appreciate her variegation, I appreciate her growth rate, and I also appreciate just like how relaxed and easy this plant is to care for. It never really fusses, honestly. Even when I let it dry out too much, it's just a very hardy plant. Also super easy to propagate. I know a lot of people say that if you're new to propagating, then to try Syngoniums because they do root up and propagate really easily. So definitely a plant that you shouldn't have any trouble taking cuttings of and propagating. I'm growing her up this stake, as you can see, and she's not like climbing this stake, but it's just serving as a support for her. So I've just tied her onto here, and I just think it looks really nice to just like kind of allow her to vine up, or else this plant would just be like a bush just like flopping around everywhere. I do have a few cuttings in this pot, and the babies are doing really well recently also. You can see a new leaf is coming out right there, and this is a pretty recent leaf as well. And just look at how beautiful that is. So, so pretty. Oh yeah, we actually have multiple new leaves coming in down here. So eventually this is going to be quite a full plant, and I'm really excited to see that. This isn't one that I'm super motivated to get to a mature leaf form or shape or anything like that. I just kind of enjoy it for what it is right now, which is really nice because it's just kind of like low pressure and low stress. Like, I get really invested in some of my other plants to really get like larger leaves and just find ways to mature it quickly, but this one I just enjoy in its current state, and that's really nice. I mean, I like the mature leaves also, so I wouldn't be mad if it matured, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it just feels like casual. It feels easy, but yet it's so stunning. So yeah, definitely a big fan. I went through a time where I wasn't really a big fan of this plant actually, and I almost gave it away, but I'm glad that I kept it because it's just turning out to be really rewarding and really beautiful. And also where it sits in my living room, it gets like the rainbows from my sun catchers, and it just looks like so glorious and magnificent. It's like a spotlight is on this plant when the sun comes through that way, and then there's just rainbows surrounding it. So I've just been admiring it a lot and appreciating it because of that as well. It's just like nicely on display in my home. I'll back up so that you can kind of see the full plant here. Yeah, I do have to rotate this plant a lot because all the leaves will be like facing whatever way the light is. So I actually have the trellis at the front of the pot. This is like my Halloween pot, but it kind of like sits like this now. I don't know, I'm just always turning this plant and moving it around. All right, next is one that I recently hauled in my wishlist plant video. So if you haven't seen that, you'll have to go check it out. But it is my Begonia Sinbad, and oh my goodness, I cannot believe the size of this plant in such a short period of time. Yeah, this thing has just grown like a beast. Look at the size of the leaves. Like, honestly, this is almost as big as my hand, that leaf. That's so crazy. This one is still coming in, and then we have several new leaves coming in also. You can see one right there. There's also another one down here. This is something that I love about begonias, is they kind of push out leaves from anywhere. Like, I'll randomly get leaves coming from every which part of the stem, and it'll shoot babies out. And yeah, they're just like, in my opinion, really vigorous growers, especially cane type begonias. So this plant was so kindly gifted to me by my friend Natasha, which I appreciate so much. This was not a plant that was ever on my radar. I don't even think I was really aware of it. I feel like I'd maybe seen it before, but yeah, it just really wasn't on my radar. So this was gifted to me, and I'm so glad that it was, because I can really see this becoming one of my all-time favorite plants, just based on the way it looks, how big the leaves can get, how fast of a grower it is. I really love begonias. I know they're not for everybody, but to me, the leaves are just so beautiful. I love that you can grow a begonia out to be like quite massive. I plan to give this a trellis just for support. That's what I typically like to do with my begonia once they get some height on them, because as you can see, they'll just like flop over. Like, they really do need some support. I will also sometime soon be chopping this and propagating just to create a fuller plant, and it also encourages like branching as well. So yeah, that's gonna be my plan with this one. Right now it's still living in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, so it is getting a lot of humidity, a lot of light. It's obviously very happy in there, but I don't think that it's necessary for this plant. If you have one, you can leave a comment down below and let me know what conditions you grow yours in, but I don't think that this is anything that needs to be in like a cabinet situation. I'll definitely be taking this out one day and just growing it out in my home. Yeah, very cool plant, and the texture of this is just incredible as well. Like, the new leaf, this feels so soft. It has like a very fine hair on it. It's just really really special in my opinion. I feel like I say all my plants are special, but that's because they are. I was thinking the other day that I've never had a begonia flower, and I think that begonia flowers are just the cutest, most precious thing. I love seeing photos of flowering begonia, and I was just thinking like how amazing that would be if I could get one of my begonias to flower. I would honestly just like, I would cry for sure. For sure I would cry. Anyways, I'm gonna put her back, but yeah, Begonia Sinbad, just incredible. Definitely blew my expectations right out of the water. Okay, next is my Philodendron tortum, which is always a favorite of mine, honestly, and actually a favorite of a lot of you guys's? Why does that not sound right? I get a lot of comments of people saying that they want to see my tortum more, they want to hear more about my tortum, they really like it, which kind of surprised me because this is definitely a plant that you either hate or you love, but it seems like a lot of us love it, which is really cool. It's such a unique philodendron, clearly. It's not like any other philodendron that I have in my collection, and that's why I love it. I just think that these are the coolest, especially when they get larger. Like, oh my goodness, if you see a mature version of this, they're quite spectacular. Now, the reason it's on my favorites list today is because we actually have two new leaves coming in, and y'all know how I feel about new leaves, and especially these new leaves. I think that a lot of people like the tortum for the way that their new leaves look when they're coming in. Like, they just look so strange and contorted and really like Tim Burton-esque. So yeah, I do have two coming in. This is the other one. I don't know how well you can see that, but oh my goodness. Okay, so this is why I was saying this on my Instagram story the other day, but this is why I say to plant more than one plant in your pot. It's so rewarding. Like, one new leaf is very exciting, but when you have two new leaves coming in, it's just like so good. When I first got into plants, I loved propagating. I would propagate a lot, but I would put the propagations into, I would start a new plant in a separate pot, or I would trade them or sell them. But now I'm very much geared towards putting the cuttings back into the mother plant just so that I can enjoy a more full, luscious plant. And I feel really good about that. It's just so rewarding to see it grow, and it really does just like make the plant just extra special compared to just having like one vine in here, one little plant in here, which that can grow out to be large as well. But honestly, I just think it's worthwhile to put more than one plant in at a time, and it just makes it much more exciting to watch it grow because you have multiple new leaves coming in at once. And I know I talk about this a lot for my plants that I have on moss poles, because I like to put in like several cuttings and then have them all grow up and fill up the moss pole. But I feel the same about plants like this that I don't have climbing, that are more like bush-like. This is a climbing plant, however, so eventually I would like to get it climbing. I'm just, I don't know, not really in a rush to do that yet, although maybe I should be, because look at these aerials. Can you see those? Yeah, the aerials are really popping off. But yeah, it's nice to have a more full bushier plant for even the ones that don't climb. Oh, I just poked myself in the eye. If that makes any sense. All right, the next one I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to put on the screen because I cannot pick it up and move it out here, so I'm sure that gives it away. It is my Monstera dubia, which, you guys, this is one of my plants that I have been the most excited to check on every day. I'm constantly looking at it because it grows so fast. There is not a time when this plant does not have a new leaf on the way. It's constantly putting out a new leaf, expanding like the most recent leaf, climbing, shooting out aerials. It's just changing so much every day. If you've been wanting a climbing or sorry, a shingling plant, I highly recommend Monstera dubia. I found it to be not only a very hardy plant, but once you give it the conditions that it wants, which now that I have it on a plank and now that I have it in decent lighting, it is just like, pff, it's taken off. It has always been a good grower and it's always been trying to climb, but I just hadn't given it what it really needed. So now that it's on that plank, I don't even do anything to it either. It's very low maintenance. I do not miss the plank or anything like that. I feel like for plants like, I don't know, some of my like typical climbing philodendron, I feel like they need a lot more encouragement and help to attach to the plank. Like, they would really benefit from like misting and stuff like that. But the Monstera dubia, since it just wants to shingle, it does not even care. It has just attached and it's going. It didn't need anything from me. So I love that because it takes some, I already have so many moss poles going, as y'all know, so it's nice to have something that's climbing that I don't have to give it that like really constant maintenance. They can also size up like immensely, incredibly. It blows my mind seeing large mature Monstera dubias. I don't know how mature mine will ever get, but she's got a lot of plank to go still, so we'll see what she looks like when she gets to the top. Also, I'm super happy that this plant is getting its silver back because I think it just wasn't getting enough light before, but now, as I suspected, now that it's getting more light from a grow light, it is getting its silver back, which is so cool because the markings are so pretty, and I know that they lose their silver markings as they mature, but mine's just not at that point yet where it's mature enough to lose the markings. So I figured it had to be something to do with environment, and yeah, luckily they're coming back, so I'm super happy about that. Okay, speaking of fast growers, the next plant is also a super fast grower, and it is my Philodendron camposportoanum. I'll try to give you an overview of what he is looking like. Yeah, this plant grows so incredibly fast. As you can see, I have several vines growing on here. Look at that one, so pretty. I have several vines growing on here, and I just got like probably 5 or 6 new leaves at once, so it's just so cool to watch them all come in. Very, very rewarding. That's why I highly suggest to put multiple cuttings into your pots. I feel like I'm a broken record, but honestly, you guys, it's just so much better doing it this way. Oh, look at these new leaves. Look at this. Oh, so pretty. This is one that I definitely do want to see size up and get mature one day. I'm really, really trying to get those mature leaves. So as you can see, it's pretty much at the top of the moss pole. So I am going to be adding an extension soon. And just continuing on the journey of climbing, the journey of trying to get those beautiful like fish-shaped leaves. Look at how dense this is. Like, she's really growing. She is really growing. And look at the aerials, like, oh my goodness. This is one that I've just been appreciating and I've been like excited to check on every day. I have been very, very good about watering my moss poles every single day lately, which I'm very proud of myself for, but it's just like a fun time for me to be able to check on all of these plants, and I love my climbing plants that are on moss poles very much, so it's just a nice like little morning moment to check on the progress of the new leaves. And I'm already seeing like, I just had, like I said, about 5 new leaves come in, and there's already like so many that are going to be unfurling soon, so she's just constantly growing. I find this to be a really easy philodendron. I actually have another one in a separate pot, and that one just grows so quickly as well. It's not on a moss pole. I'm actually probably going to like trade that one off or something because I don't think I need 2. This guy actually has spider mites right now as well. I treated him the other day, but now I can see them coming back, so I'm gonna have to do another treatment. But honestly, he doesn't seem too bothered by them. I could see like a little bit of damage, and that's what, if you can see right there, that's what kind of tipped me off, because unfortunately my philodendron gigas has spider mites right now. So basically I'm treating my whole cabinet for spider mites, but honestly I don't even care, because after having thrips, spider mites are like, okay, like whatever, I'll just spray everyone down, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still suck, and I still empathize with you if you are dealing with spider mites, because I've definitely had my fair share of having spider mites. I used to get them so much. I don't as much anymore, but yeah, definitely, in my opinion, not nearly as bad as having thrips. Anyways, just kind of wanted to share some of the progress on this guy. I love him very much, and I just cannot wait to see the leaf size up. I feel like it's gonna happen soon once I get an extension on here, although it is gonna have to come out of the cabinet when I put an extension on. That's kind of like the tricky thing about this, is because I can only grow them so tall in the cabinet unless I've been thinking about changing my cabinet a little bit so that the shelf is higher up, and then I can have my climbing plants on the bottom, because I have a friend that has her cabinet like that, and it just got me thinking like, maybe I should do that with my cabinet. So let me know if I should. You can't see it, but I'm looking at my Milsbo tall over there. Let me know if you think I should rearrange my shelves so that I can accommodate for taller plants, because if I did that, then plants like this, I could add the extension and they could still stay in the cabinet's humidity and lighting, and then I would get more mature leaves faster. Maybe I should do that. Alright, so I guess that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing some of the plants that have really been bringing me joy over this past month. Make sure you are subscribed for more planty content. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really, really helps me out. And also, please leave a comment down below. I would love to chat with you. Alright, I hope that you guys have an awesome day. I will see you in the next one. Bye!